Hey, it looks like this thing still works. I wasn't really doing anything important the last month, just playing Apex poorly.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What?
Unfortunately, during the last month, I saw this, and some of these. With all of the guides available, the experience of the people in the market, and all of the warnings provided by trusted individuals that would 100% be willing to purchase, I thought we would be getting somewhere. But I guess some people just get too greedy. As someone who was recently selling a very high tier item where I do believe I was in talks with a scammer that eventually gave up, I can provide a unique perspective. First off, before we can get into evaluating items and selling to trusted individuals, you need to make sure that you are secure. There's a ton of robust guides covering a multitude of tricks that can be used. What you are seeing here will be linked in the description. Due to experienced traders recently falling for some of these, I can recommend every person watching this to read through the guide. I guarantee you will come away with at least one new piece of information. To this day, I still have a link to my Steam API in my bookmarks. Every significant trade, I look to make sure nothing new is added. I've seen more API scams than I could count, and for those who are inexperienced, this seems to be the most common type of scam. Alright, assuming you have knowledge on how to protect yourself, now we can look at how to sell a typical knife or skin that can be easily evaluated and sold. There's a multitude of sites that allow you to cash out. Skinports and GamerPay are two sites that I have affiliation with. Skinports is a site where you should be able to sell for a higher price. Why is that? Because the fees are much higher. GamerPay prices are competitive with Buff163, which is the premier Chinese marketplace. Because of that, prices will seem lower than something like Bitskins or Skinports, but they have become one of my favorite sites. Due to their affiliation with high-profile names and organizations, combined with my knowledge of the members, when I list my knife again, GamerPay will be one of the sites used. Another secure site that can give you a fast sale is Skinbid. This is Zippel's site, and if you don't know who that is, he is basically the skin community's Gaben, also known as God. You have the option to sell on their markets or to auction the item. If it's a fairly common item, like a typical knife or skin, worth a decent chunk of change, the auctions get pretty close to market value. In my opinion, with the introduction of skin bid auctions, there's less pressure to do a cash trade with large traders, but if you decide to go that route, be careful. Impersonators. Individuals that use a follow or Steam friend to act like they're trusted, or even someone who was trusted, could be in a tough spot financially. If one of you is watching this and is set on doing a cash sale, send me a DM. I can at least lead you to some people that will offer a fair price. Alright, those are some basic things to consider. But what if you have something unique enough that these rules don't apply? Maybe you somehow beat the #1 lowest float skin in the game. Maybe you have a crazy 4x Katowice 2014 holo skin. Or maybe it's a blue gem. There's a ton of items that have never been obtained at all, or haven't been sold in years. How could you sell safely without getting sharked out of hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars? I will outline exactly what I did when I unboxed my knife, in which only 2 exist in the world, and this is where I made my first mistake. After unboxing, I did what any social media addicted person would do. I posted it on Twitter. What I should have done was pull up a guide for case hardens and find my pattern. Someone could have told me it was the #1 pattern, and someone could have told me it was the #5 pattern. I would never know. Fortunately, despite what you've seen recently, there's many honest people on Twitter that are knowledgeable about obscure items. Whether you have 1,000 followers or 10 followers, if people are interested in what you obtained, it will spread. But this is why it was also a mistake going to Twitter right away and not looking into it at all. Because there were so many people interacting with it, there were numbers anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000. I have no idea what number I should believe. The first thing I did is I sent a donation to Anomaly because he was live, and lucky for me, he just uploaded the clip.
crazy. And alas, it is a 403. Absolutely crazy. I think I bid for one of these field tested. I put in a bid for 100k, but then it ended up going to my friend for I think 110 approx. This is so nice. The guy just said, and I was showing my fucking Falcon. That's like when you're super proud of your painting, you show your dad, and then Picasso comes in. Sippel has one battle scarred listed for 200k RMB, which is like, I don't know, 30k euro? Yeah, 29k euro. This one ought to be more, because it's better float. So this one, if he's pricing his at 30, maybe this one would be anywhere from 28 to 35.
From here, I found that Zippel is selling the only battle-scarred 403, and Anomaly believes that it should be somewhere around that $30,000 range. Okay, that's a start. Now let's see if I can get more info. Luckily for me, I hit Zippel on a good timing, and he actually responded to my DM. His worst condition knife, listed at $30,000, had no offers. From this, I could assume that a fast sale would be under $30,000. Some patients I could probably sell for $30,000, and because it's a better float, if I'm in no rush to sell, maybe above $30,000. By asking for help from the community, finding a similar item, and inquiring with the owner, I have determined the price range. I find something like this very important for unique souvenirs that are generally traded privately and years apart at times. Getting someone who can tell you either the previous sale price or what they believe the value should be can save you from getting sharked. Okay, if you have gotten to this point, you are either home free or just starting the journey depending on how you sell. Using one of the markets mentioned or another you trust, home free. Selling to an individual privately, we're just getting started. Before I realized what I wanted to purchase wouldn't go into production until 2023, I decided maybe selling my knife quicker was the better option. I would be losing out on a bit of money, but reinvesting in other items making a higher return over the next year, or getting something nice for myself, seems like a good option too. I put up a tweet saying I would sell to the highest bidder by September 1st. If you haven't noticed, it's the end of September, and it's still in my inventory. Just a few days after posting, I received a DM from someone that I had on my friends list for 26,000 USD. This was a reasonable offer that I would seriously consider, but there were concerns. First, his inventory value did not represent someone that would spend 26,000 on an individual item. In fact, that one item would be worth more than his entire inventory. A few things come to mind. Maybe someone new to the scene that just dumped a bunch of money. Maybe someone who stole a credit card and is trying to move that money. Or maybe it's a scammer. Considering this person did not have a public CSGO rep, which is how traders get rep these days, not through Steam profile comments, do not fall for fake rep. I tried to see if anyone knew about the guy, and sent out a few messages. What I received back was a ton of people that have never heard of the guy, and a few showcasing an extremely toxic person. Red flag number 3. At this point, I decided for such a high profile item, trading with someone that no one knows, it would be best to use a middleman. The buyer agreed to using Zippel as a middleman, which gave me confidence again. Middlemans are great, but once again, if you're expecting someone to middleman a basic knife or a basic Katowice 2014 skin, you're probably going to get ghosted by any trustworthy trader. So I've locked in a middleman, meaning the money will be sent to the middleman, the item will be sent to the middleman. When both are received, the money will be sent to me, and the buyer will receive the item. Well, this is where things started getting weird. 1, he said he didn't have the money. 2, not only was this guy toxic, but he was also a shark. Now I can't 100% confirm whether or not this guy was a scammer, because I prevented foul play using a middleman. After seeing some info about this guy, the last thing I wanted to do was to send him an item and give him rep, because I believe he would have abused that power to scam others, and that is why this knife still lies in my inventory. When things are either too good to be true, or people come to you with warnings, don't be afraid to cancel. One that I've seen more often recently is someone contacts you saying they will pay, but but you need to sell within the next few hours or days for various reasons. They are trying to force you into making a rush decision. And that's why I told Anomaly this. 1 month was an arbitrary number that I made up on the spot. If I said I was willing to sell when the trade lock was done, I would be flooded with scammers and terrible options. By saying I had no interest in selling for a period of time, I no longer became an immediate target. Desperation is heaven for scammers. And for now, this is where the story ends. I was hoping to post a video showcasing how I securely sold my knife. I guess showcasing a video how I securely didn't sell my knife works too. But at the very least, now that I have the screenshots, I can now do this, and eliminate his last string of reputation. Stay safe and don't be afraid to ask for help.